Welcome to Nostalgia Pilots, a Mobile Fighter G Gundam podcast that instinctively abandons a place when it senses danger. I'm Hugh.
I'm Jurd.
And I'm Jason.
And I'm Spence.
And we are here to talk about G Gundam Episode 16, Ultimate Power and Evil, Rise of the Devil Gundam.
Before we get into the episode proper, this was a new intro this episode, right? This was a new... They didn't drop this 2 or 3 episodes.
I didn't actually watch the intro because I was doing stuff before.
It was the same music. I didn't pay attention to whether or not it was a new intro.
I think there was a bunch of new imagery. There was like the Gundam floating in the sky and Domon looking all samurai style. And I'm glad I actually watched it for once because I was like, wow, this is great. I love this new intro. Everything's trippy and yeah, anyway.
Underneath the sky, keep on burning.
I don't know. I was mostly distracted by the random German ninja that shows up this episode.
So before that, let's first get to a very logistical problem that a lot of people may be understandably cautious about these 4 Gundam fighters and their allies, and how they're supposed to just accept that they're no longer under the DG's control. And so we're just supposed to accept them back like nothing happened. And Domon's like, yeah.
I like that Domon's like, you have to respect their manly feelings. And the mayor's just like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, and like the only one to show any remorse is George. He's like,
This was not a nightly thing to do.
Yeah, he's like, even though my mind was taken over, as a knight, this is uncalled for. And I'm like, calm down, George. It's okay, bruh. Relax.
Well,
Chibity's mad, but he doesn't seem very apologetic about it.
No, he just wants to beat up something because he was not in control of himself.
Yeah, he wants to punch something. But guys, guess what? We don't get to explore this anymore because the ground caves in. It kills all of those wounded because we don't see them ever again.
No, we do. Well, we see some of them.
I know we see the mayor guy.
So if the mayor survived, somebody had to survive.
Well,
actually, all of the named characters or characters we've seen before survive, but maybe some of the background people didn't do so well.
We do get some sweet shots of the domestic rescue force Gundam suits coming in, the no-namers doing some survival work. That was pretty neat, actually. I wish we got more of those guys.
Yeah, survival and also perimeter. Watch. That's what I was going for.
Yeah, I like their design, and they're a gray kind of matte color, which I think is better camouflage in a cityscape than bright white, blue, red, gold. All the colors that the Gundam fighters have.
It does feel like a pull from the original 70s material, too. It feels like a little bit of an older style. Anyway.
Yeah. They definitely have a much more flamboyant style for the G fighters since they're meant to be, big, spectacular robot jocks.
Well,
WWF was.
Yeah, exactly. It's WWF or WWE. It's showmanship. It's supposed to be flashy and big, and that's why they hire someone like Chibity Crockett.
Mad props to Chibity, though, because he takes this fall like a G and even tries to pull off some chivalry, although George shits on that immediately. He's like, Rain, you should not be walking around here by yourself. Allow me to escort you. And George just shows up out of the dark like, hey, man, if you know how to get out of here, I would gladly let you show me, too. And he's like,
I love how it was a disrespectful kind of chivalry.
It was nice, nasty. It was nice, nasty.
Yeah,
they were fun to see the two of them sort of be button heads a little bit.
They did request consent to tag along, which I was very happy with considering when this when this came out. But then when they're getting surrounded, they're like, "Go, Miss Rain, we'll take care of this." I'm sitting here going, you realize she probably has a gun in her pocket?
Yeah, you're gonna
fist fight the one that's carrying their light.
Yeah, she has the flashlight in her compact. This compact is way more useful than Sailor Moon's magic prism.
Yeah.
thing.
As,
Basically a cell phone.
Yeah.
like as we've seen previously, it has like protective. Like, why did she just use that protective bubble dome she used in like episode 2 or whatever it was? Like those zombies couldn't get through.
It took bullets
Yeah, from
from head Vulcans. Those are high caliber.
Yeah, but you gotta give props to the sweet heavy metal zombies. That was
Yes.
I felt like we were
they
back
are
on the
cool.
bomber. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was not okay with that because I am terrified of zombies. So that was not okay. Y'all didn't warn me. You people who know me very well, you didn't warn me. I wanted to punch you in the face.
I watched this episode literally whilst making cardboard trays at work. Like, I completely forgot that the Dark Army skeletal zombie dudes show up in the basement. Like, but I will say, you know, Rain may have a gun, but Chibity's fists will never run out. He'll never have to reload those fists.
Well, I do like that that there is like when Chibity punches the one and George like stabs the other, there is like a distinct like wind effect for both of them. Like they fired a Hadoken.
And Chibity's great because he's like, "Oh, you sensed them too, did you?" I'm like, "What?" Like,
I feel like there's a Gimli Legolas style bromance happening here.
Yeah, I'm for it, but the thing is we don't get any sort of philosophical pullback where they're like, hey, weren't we just infected with DG cells? Is there some sort of moral problem with us cutting down dozens and dozens of former citizens of this city, even though we just used to be exactly like them 10 minutes ago?
and also,
Let's talk more slicey.
Yes,
Yeah, so-
they do briefly at the end be like, oh, so those monsters were the people of the city the whole time. And then they're like, yep, well.
and also, like, these are, like, we've seen the DG cells infect people like a virus. Like, they touched that rat and made that rat go mad. So should you be punching them, by the way? And cutting them with the melee weapons?
Yeah, fair.
Speaking of which, when everyone does fall into the center of the earth, people do get separated. Argo is with the main group of all the extras and support people, and he's using like his chains as a torch.
It's the most Russian thing in the world. I loved that scene. Absolutely beautiful.
Meanwhile, Domon has fashioned an actual torch somehow.
Which is ridiculous because that should have been Saisaichi who did that because he's got the flaming flags from his Gundam.
We do get a little bit of their big brother, little brother dynamic in this episode, though, and I'm always a sucker for that, so.
Yeah.
And Domon's still very bad at it because, like, Domon just lets Saisaichi get covered in rats.
Oh, into the river of rats, yeah. Oh, we gotta go this way, come on.
Yeah.
Where are you going, bro?
And I
Don't leave me behind.
It felt like that scene from Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade, really.
Mhm.
I also love, like, Domon is just, I don't care how much of a badass you are. If a sea of rats comes running out of somewhere and crawls all over you, that's disgusting. You have to react to this. Domon looks like he does this every day. Like, he is just non-bothered by this. And Saisashi, a Shaolin-trained Gundam fighter, is like, dude, this is gross. They're covered in the plague, and he's on top of Domon.
You have to remember that he's like 11 at the most.
Yeah.
I'm 36, and I would be on top of Domon. Like,
Yeah.
Domon has, like, eaten a rat or two in his day, I'm just saying.
Swamp rat, rotisserie style.
Yeah.
I think we're coming up on your fellow there, your German ninja.
Yeah, we need to talk about the ninja assassin in a trench coat.
So Rain is sent off by herself while Chibity and George really unwisely are fighting the DG zombies with their fists and their foil. And so she falls through a door, or she sees a light at the end of a tunnel. And when she opens the door, she finds the Double Gundam. And it is absorbing all of its pink eye army and gaining power. and we see the silhouette of Kyoji sitting atop it, looking like he's kind of asleep, kind of like the prince in Utena, just sitting there not paying attention to anything. But then one of the pink eyes sees Rain and grabs onto the ledge that she's standing on, and and then all of a sudden a boomerang comes and hits the thing in the eye.
I guess
a boomerang that is like one of those Gundam like little V crown things too.
Yeah.
It is basically the Gundam Speed Racer X version of Sailor Moon's tiara.
I don't know. For me, it rang true of Samurai Cats. Deep cut. Let's go.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he like has some kind of camouflage on his thing, and all you can see is his eyes, and he says, "Go! You need to get out of here. I'll handle this." And then Rain goes and somehow finds the others up top.
Yeah, I want to say
that's the point where we see the like the big robots lifting all the rebel up.
Oh yeah, the domestic defense force. I do want to say up until this point, because the ninja assassin sort of has a trench coat and he's a mysterious new character who's shouting random things, I was like on board. Everything was going for me. This is hitting a lot of notes that I really enjoy. You want to inject some weird dude in the middle of your show that we haven't been introduced to, but is apparently going to be a main character. We were already like this many episodes in. Let's do it. But once we actually get around to his Gundam reveal sequence, things got really complicated.
Listen, for some reason, when they reveal the German Ninja Gundam pilot, he then proceeds to start doing Naruto levels of Gundam abilities, and I'm just like, what? Like, it's realistic for like in the universe of this world to have Domon be able to shoot fireballs or whatever, and George to have his rose bits.
Which he does use this episode.
We do get this episode. And Chibity's a boxer, and Argo's a prisoner who's using a giant ball and chain. Like, all of those things kind of fit in. But German ninja? Like,
it's almost like he wasn't German at all.
Oh no!
We did skip over an important plot point for our villains.
Oh yes, so Master Asia shows up and is weird and creepy.
And admits that he joined Kyoji willingly.
Yes, he says he was so moved by the sheer strength of the Devil Gundam that he decided to be a follower.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah, it's the perversion of the shonen protagonist who wants to be stronger and fight the strongest opponents. But instead of being like, I want to fight you because you're strong, it's, I'll hang with you because you're strong. Yeah.
Well, long story short, Domon is broken up with Master Asia. Domon is now best friends with Schwartz Bruder.
Well, okay, we do get a sequence where we get that classic trope where everyone tries to do the individual attack thing, like Chibity Leroy Jenkins in there tries to punch Devil Gundam to death, and then George throws bits, and everyone kind of takes their turn and gets trashed. And then we get the Gundam. That's when we get the Gundam Spiegel reveal, where he jumps in to defend everybody. And again, got a lot going for it. Sweet blade hand action, whatever's going on there. All for it.
Very Guyver-esque.
Yeah, but you cannot get around a German color scheme or that Kaiser helmet and not just have like a little hint of Nazi going on, and it's just a little uncomfortable.
And so so as the native German speaker here, his name translates to Black Brother. The Black Brotherhood is one of the names that they called the Gestapo.
Well, that's not good.
And the Spiegel Gundam, the Spiegel Gundam translates to the Mirror Gundam, which makes sense because of his camouflage abilities. But the name is a little on the nose.
So, to make this a little bit better, because I think I know what they were going for, can I give you guys a slight spoiler?
If you could take the sting of Nazism out of this episode, I'm all for it.
Yeah. So I don't think this is going to be that much of a spoiler, but that's actually Kyoji.
Oh.
That's
oh.
So that's
Yeah,
why
so-
he called the Black Brothers, because he's actually his brother.
Brother. He's
Yeah, like
actually-
the same way that Darth Vader is Luke's father.
Yeah. Like, so I know what they were going for, but they definitely could have picked anything else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, they could have called him Kimasabe.
Anything.
Yeah.
Could have gone on anything. But, you know, again, he's the German Ninja Gundam, so
But why? But why is he choosing Germany?
Because he can't.
I don't actually need to know. We'll find out. I'm
I'm
sure. But
assuming it's because he can't go back to Neo Japan because he's supposed to be dead or evil. So, like, and in my recollection, I definitely don't think they really give it an explanation.
so
Well,
It is solidly the Racer X of Gundam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I have questions because we have the Spiegel Gundam, and then we have this Kyoji like avatar who is sitting unmoving, uncaring, like stone faced, on top of the Devil Gundam. But when the Devil Gundam starts to attack, then he gets the evil grin. So he is emoting something. So is this like a body double? What's going on? I'm very confused.
Well, it gets even more complicated because he's sitting on the shoulder of the Devil Gundam, which, as it turns out, is just like an anglerfish little lure thing on the forehead of Blastoise, the Mega Gundam, and which I'm all for. Like, when we get into this weird ball-tripping Akira territory of imagery, I'm like, yes, let's do. And we even get a little explosion sequence where we get an Akira City explosion near the end.
Well, yeah,
But-
because it absorbs power.
The Devil Gundam like splits Shinjuku City Hall like in half, and like it like perfectly like splits in half, and it's like rising from this egg but doesn't have enough power to get out of it. And then Domon shining fingers it, but he
misses.
can't do it and tries to spare Kyoji and hit the egg part, and then it eats all the energy and manages to like break free or something.
Yeah, it was in the Japanese. You hear the Spiegel Gundam go, "Oh, Baka," something, and it
You
translates.
fool!
Yeah, it translates.
Scheiße!
It translates to "you fool. Why'd you not go for the head?" And I'm like,
True.
you really couldn't have had some German there. Like, he's supposed to be a German ninja. Like, you couldn't have said anything.
And this is actually also where the episode runs out of animation budget, because we get a lot of still fade acrosses after this to try to save. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's a lot of like broad still scenes and a slow pan across with everybody just kind of standing there to save on the animation.
A lot of reaction shot.
Yeah.
Oh man, but but the Devil Gundam does look cool, and it does break the mold of kind of what we've seen thus far in the series that we've watched. Because it has the key features of Gundams, right? Like, it's got the face shield, the pointy head spikes, and all that noise. But its general overall look is something very unique. It kind of looks like a roiling mass of like Cthulhian tentacles with a Gundam head coming out of it that has another Gundam coming out of it.
Yeah, it's very like JRPG Final Boss.
Yeah.
This time.
But I do
'Cause it's
agree
like-
that it has that angler fish kind of feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's all glowy. Like, I guess it had to get a red glow because it is called the Devil Gundam.
I'm all for the design, but I do want to point out that it must have also been expensive to animate, because when Kyoji, quote unquote, and Master Asia decide to spare Domon, they basically just fade out. Like, that's it. They don't turn around or whatever. Domon's like, come back, and they're just like, slow fade, and then actually your Gundam's gonna slowly fade out too, and like, let's just pan into the next scene.
Yeah, the Devil Gundam and Kyoji both do a lot of random disappearing to save on budget of animating that thing moving. Because if you notice, it technically doesn't have legs. It's basically like a bunch of tentacles and roots coming out of the ground, and That's it. Like, you don't, like, other than the actual anglerfish part coming out of its head, you're not really going to see the rest of that thing do a lot, like, move a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta save that budget, son. Because this is a shonen show. We got another tournament coming up.
But we do finally conclude on Domon maybe finally actually believing that his brother is a murderer, although now, spoiler, we know that he's actually a guy who can't bother to tell his brother that he's his brother.
No, not at all. You would think if you wanted him to attack this thing lethally, you would be like, hey man, it's cool. I'm actually Kyoji. But don't worry about that right now. Blow that up first. You know, the thing that's causing a zombie apocalypse.
Okay, I don't know if you guys have, I don't know who here has siblings. I think everybody has probably a dumb German accent that they've done at some point. And your siblings are probably deeply familiar with that dumb German accent. I feel like Domon should know Kyoji's dumb German accent. And like be like, wait, what? Okay, one other thing though before we get off Kyoji the ninja, the German ninja. I did want to say that I thought the transposition was hilarious and they really missed a comedic note there where it would have been hilarious if the German ninja was utterly stealthy in appearance, but every time he talked, it was like loud and abrupt and in a German fashion and entirely the opposite of stealth.
So they should have hired Schwarzenegger for it, even though he's Austrian.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm here for it. I
don't know if Neo Austria gets a robot.
I'd watch that. It's fine. I'd watch giant buff Austrian German ninja who's actually Japanese. I'd watch that.
Okay, so I'm watching it subbed. For those of us who are watching the dub, like, do they have accents?
No, not really. I mean, the German guy barely says anything.
Darn.
But yeah, they need to, like, keep him mysterious for another 30 episodes for, like, no reason, because you can't have a masked man and, like, show his face.
Like, and it's... In my brain, I was just like, does anyone not believe this is... Like, does anyone... Do they really believe that all of a sudden this masked dude is going to come out of nowhere and fight on par with the guy who's been pimp slapping all of these Gundam pilots? Like
he is very Green Ranger.
Oh my
God.
Yes, he's definitely Tommy Oliver.
So looking towards the future, the one thing I'm looking forward to is I'm hoping that before the reveal goes off, the German guy Bruder and the half-masked scientist guy have a face-off. I want to see a stare down. Like our previously masked guy, what, bro? You're not good enough for a full mask? You can't go full mask? You can't afford it? Is the benefits of this place that bad? You only got half? What's going on?
Oh gosh!
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, if there was a G Gundam abridged, that would happen.
So. The thing I would love to see is, you know how Rain took over the Shining Finger or the Shining Gundam, and I feel like she told the other pit crews about it, and you're like, well, I want to do that too. And so then you get the Commandant. Basically, if all of the Gundam pilots are out, you have the Commandant who's taking over Neo Russia's Gundam. Let's get the princess in the French one, and get one of the Shaolin monks or both of the Shaolin monks in the Dragon Gundam, and get Chibity's bunny into his one of his bunnies.
I would love it because Chibity only has what, 3 pit crew? He has 3.
Yes.
He has 4, but only 3 showed up in this episode.
Well, then I definitely feel like they could have a Voltron-style Gundam.
Yeah.
Yes.
By their bunny powers combined, they are Neo America's Gundam.
And you can't, like, say that, like, a bunny girl Gundam would not move model kits, because let's be honest.
No, it wouldn't just move one model kit, though. It would move 4 or 5 or how many ever it would take to make the bunny girl robot. Like,
yes,
yeah, like it would move all of those and quickly. I would have it. It's fine. So favorite.
Are we to? Yeah, I was gonna say, are we to favorite parts?
My favorite part was in the subtitle when Chibity surprises Rain underground. She cold-cocks him and knocks him upside down, and his only response is in bad English, "Ouchie, ouchie." It is terribly funny, and I'm just like, you really? Come on, guys. It's just so funny because he just goes, "Ouchie, ouchie," as he's upside down. And I'm like, and you're going to save her? Come on, dude, you're a boxer.
Also the Queen of Spades.
Yes.
Which he is not very fond of.
Yeah.
Because he's a bitch.
Listen, Duo Maxwell would absolutely love being called the Queen of Spades.
Yes, Captain Fancy Pants would.
He would be absolutely pumped to be the Queen of Spades.
My favorite moment was definitely, and we've kind of touched on it already, the Russian Gundam pilot using his electro chains to light the room. There was no moment that was so the epitome of that. He doesn't get a lot of lines. He doesn't get a lot of anything. So to just see him be like, "I will go back into bondage to allow us to escape." It was just such a Russian moment.
I'm beginning to think that dude's into that.
Well, you mean there might be something to him traveling with that lady with the horsewhip all the time?
And he's like always like putting that like harness on with the bomb in it.
Yeah. You make a point.
It's fine. It keeps him motivated.
My favorite part was definitely Domon being a bad older brother and letting Saisaishi get covered in rats. Like him leading. That torch is going to hit a busted gas main. You know it's going to. It's so dangerous. And then like the rats come out and he steps out of the way and like Saisaishi gets covered and you're like, rats do that sometimes. We must be getting close.
Domon's such a dick.
I think my favorite part was the part that I actually criticized the most, which is the boomerang to the eye of the pink eye Gundam. Like, I like the ability of the not only the Spiegel Gundam but also the Spiegel fighter. I hate his name. But, you know, he has that camouflage ability as well. And I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I was for it. And he does.
And I liked the way they animated it.
Yeah, he does go into that limited list of characters who can take down a entire Gundam like suit with just a handheld weapon. He's not using another suit. He just hucks his boomerang.
Yeah,
Right.
we've only got 3 of those thus far. We've got Domon, Master Asia, and the German Ninja.
And mysterious Gundam Fighter X.
Yes. As soon as I saw him, I was like, he's definitely Racer X. Like, it's in my head. I couldn't get Speed Racer out of my head for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, I was not distracted by that because I've never watched Speed Racer. Like, I know the iconography, but I was seriously just thinking Samurai Cats the whole time.
Speed Racer. If you've never seen it, it is definitely a time capsule of the era it came out in, and it's super funny. It's cheesy B horror. Like, it's basically Japan's level of like Scooby-Doo or Jabberjaw or that era in cartoons. Like, that's their answer to that, and it's great.
I kind of wish there was like Stalker showed back up to like give narration at this point, where he'd be like, "Little did Rain know that the mysterious Gundam fighter was secretly Domon's brother Kyoji, who had been thought lost to the Devil Gundam."
Yeah.
Although I will say, I think later on he does get some of that style of narration. I think he does get something very similar to that once things start picking back up. Like, because again, he's kind of omnipotent like God. Like, he's kind of just, like, he's just that. He's literally a physical, living, real person who's narrating these events. Like,
yeah.
He's basically one of Marvel's The Watchers.
Yeah. He's the
to Spence's point, though, I have to say that I watched a lot of Samurai Pizza Cats in my youth, And now I feel like I got to go back and maybe during one of the special episodes when one of us is
Yeah.
we should watch
a
an
watch
episode.
party.
Well, I'm just interested. I realized that show must have been so heavily influenced, especially in the character designs. I can see it now that I'm thinking about it. Now that you mention it, I'm like, oh yeah, the V, of course. Like, of course they were just ripping off Gundam. But I didn't know it at the time, so now I'd be interested in going back and watching how many notes I catch.
Yeah.
Honestly, Samurai Pizza Cats is a cross between Ronin Warriors and Gundam. Like if you've ever seen the Samurai Troopers or Ronin Warriors as it was translated in American, that's basically what they do, except they're cats and they deliver pizza.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
I'd love an SD Gundam crossover with the Samurai Pizza Cats. I'd watch that.
You can find all of our show notes at nostalgiapilots.com. You can find everything I do over at hughjodonnell.com, or just click on my link tree. That's linktr.ee/hughjodonnell.
You can find all my stuff over at skinner.fm.
You can find everything I do at nerdswithvoices.com.
And since I'm most prolific on TikTok, you can find me on TikTok at spence.resonant.moon.
Okay, join us back here next week for G Gundam episode 17, Challenge, the Mysterious Masked Fighter.
All because of this guy. All because of this guy.
It's resurrection time for the Devil Gundam.